If you are a father, if you are about to be a father, if you have a father, if you don't know your daddy, this episode is for you. I know that sounds crazy because it's like a little bit of everybody, but this episode is for you. Basically, this episode features my guy, Lawrence C. Harris, all right? So this episode, we talking about fatherhood and fatherlessness and the effects of it. He is a speaker. He's only 19 years old. But in this episode, he talks about what it was like growing up from the abuse of his father, how it put him to where he's at now. You know, sometimes in life, we think that, you know, we go through these horrible situations or these defining moments, and they change our lives forever. And then sometimes you get over with those people. Like, you know, they might have did this to you, kind of like, you know, in the Bible where it was like, you know, when Joseph told his brothers, you know, you did this to me, but, you know, but I forgive y'all now, one big happy family. Okay, sometimes that don't always happen. Sometimes you'll never talk to them people again. So we're going to talk about that from that angle. But also we're going to mention some different fathers in this episode where, you know, it even say in the Bible, get out of your father's home, where sometimes it might be holding you back. What if that is the case? What if, you know, you and your father, you know, has caused a lot of issues, which a lot of people do deal with fatherlessness and father, you know, daddy issues, and it turns into some whole other different thing, you know. So this episode is good for talking about that angle. We talk about what's happening when, you know, sometimes if you are the person who's breaking a legacy, or, you know, because we've talked about legacy before, but what happens when it's you are changing a bad legacy? Like, what if you come from a group of drunks? What if you come from a group of pimps and hoes and stuff, and you want to change that? You know, what do you do? Do you start over completely? Do you take the good sides or the good parts of what they did and add on to it? How you do that? So this episode is for you and that. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.